Hello everybody, welcome to LESSONFUNIA. So this is our first episode. I'm so excited to share new things to you, and you can actually learn about anything from this channel, especially on how to improve your English skill. This is my second channel after TECHNOCOFFEE, and today we would like to learn about three things. The first one is persuasive speech. The second one is Pecha Kucha presentation, and the third one is rhetorical triangle. Ethos, Pathos, and Logos. Check this out. Okay, let us start with persuasive speech. So, as you can see on the screen here, the goal of persuasive speech is actually to convince our audience with throughout our ideas or point of view. So for example, if you would like to make people believe that smoking is a bad habit, so you have to provide some argument, some data until people believe that they may not smoke anymore. Pecha Kucha presentation. So this technique was actually found in 2003 by Astrid Klein and Mark Ethos, and they were actually an architect, and at that moment they were about to present their project, but they needed a kind of short way of presenting their ideas. So Pecha Kucha was made in that moment, and actually the idea was simple. So in Japanese, the meaning of Pecha Kucha is chit chat or talking to each other, something like that. And they made it that simple by not giving long words or text on the presentation that they have, like we used to have using PowerPoint slides. So the main idea of having Pecha Kucha is actually to not show any words or text in our presentation, but we use pictures. Pictures somehow speak louder than words or text. Well, everybody, you probably have a question in mind how to do Pecha Kucha presentation. You only need to provide as many as 20 slides for your presentation, no more than that. And the second one, for every slide, you will only need 20 seconds to go from one slide to another slide. You can imagine how short it is. Yes, because the purpose of this technique is to shorten our explanation, to make the presentation more efficient and also straightforward. Okay, and the third one, we can only use pictures. No text, no sentences, only pictures. Okay, how many pictures do we have in one slide? Well, in my opinion, we can use more than one picture. Maybe 2 pictures or 3 pictures. Okay, and now we come to a technique to deliver your persuasive speech to be more efficient, to be more effective, and of course, to make it more impactful. Okay, this technique was found by Aristotle, and people call this as rhetorical appeals, which consist of 3 modes. The first one is Ethos, the second one is Pathos, and the third one is Logos. Let me tell you how to do each of these techniques. I will start from the first technique called Ethos. So during the presentation, you have to show your audience that you are credible enough to deliver this content because you have experience, you are the right person to talk about this issue, and you are the right person on the right position. For example, your profession or your job is totally related to this topic. So that is ethos. What about pathos? Pathos is actually a strategy to engage audience, to make them believe in your statement. After you give or you tell a story, you play with their emotions. You make them feel happy, you make them feel sad. Yeah, just play with their emotions. Yeah. For example, when you want to make people believe that smoking is a really bad habit, you can just tell people how your friends passed away or died due to lung cancer. Okay, so you can see my point. And logos. Logos is actually a technique that you have to provide data. You have to make people believe in your speech because you have enough reasons, logical and acceptable reasons to make people believe that your idea is cool, your idea is really telling the truth, yeah, so that people might join your action. For example, you are about to make people believe that smoking is really a bad habit. People should stop that soon by telling that in each day, as many as 100 people died in your region due to heart attack and lung cancer. Now, by telling people this idea, they will start thinking that, okay, I have something to believe because you've already provided research-based data, okay, that people can start following your argument. Up to now, what do you think? Do I make yourself convinced that this technique is very impactful for your persuasive speech later? You decide. Okay, to make it more understandable, I will show you with the real example. For your final presentation project, we will use this template. So first, we have 20 slides in our presentation for your Pecha Kucha presentation. Your first slide would tell people about your self-introduction, and the second slide and the third slide will contain a hook or strategies to engage audiences. By the way, you can actually switch this to one another. Yeah. So from opening, you can just switch that with the hook. So you can have hook at first. For example, okay, so this one. You know that hook is used to engage your audiences better in your
presentation.
You can start with a question, something like, what do you think about this picture? Or, do you think that you love this food? Okay. Something like that. Make your questions simple. Don't make them think too hard to answer your questions. So once again, don't start with a why question because it will take them some time to think. And then the second one is use a familiar quote by a big name or a famous figure, philosopher, and maybe a politician, and so on. The third one, you can mention some data at first. For example, the number of people who currently smoke and what happened to them lately, how many of them died because of lung cancer and so on. And the fourth one is by telling a story. So people love telling stories. That's why this is the simplest idea, maybe, for you to engage kids better. Well, this is up to you, but in my opinion, I would rather use question and tell a story. So, what about yours? Okay, so for the fourth and the fifth slide, you can start explaining the problem, which becomes the main issue. So your speech is totally needed right now. Okay, so you have two slides, slide 4 and 5. On the sixth slide, you are ready to present your purpose of having this talk. For the seventh and eighth slides, you have ethos. You know that ethos contains of a part that you have to make yourself credible in telling or sharing this idea. And you have two slides which contains of supporting ideas. And on your 11th slide, you have Pathos. So this is the part that you will sway your audience emotionally with a story to make or create a nuance of sadness or happiness on anything that you need to make them convinced. And you have two slides to support your argument. The next one is logos. In this part, you will tell your audiences data to make them convinced more, and if possible, you can provide a research-based data. So because nowadays, there are so many hoax news around that you can fight that using trustworthy and also reliable data from around you. For the conclusion, you have two slides to do that, and to close your presentation, you also have two slides. Is my explanation clear? Okay, let me give you another short example how to do this presentation briefly and smoothly. Okay, before we start performing our Pecha Kucha performance, I'd like to recommend you to prepare these few things that we can do to help us make a better performance later. So first, we need a stopwatch. Any stopwatch would help. So you can use your smartphone stopwatch like this, and you can just put it down on the table, right? So if you have no assistance around you, you can just click start or left button. So this is a bit hard for those who are not getting used to this, but I started to feel accustomed to doing this by pressing my stopwatch by myself. Okay, and then second one is that you need to give some notes on your Canva. Okay, so make some notes on your Canva slides will really help you to deliver the ideas smoother, and also you don't need to read any any notes or on a piece of paper around you. You don't need to do that because everything is already there on your screen. I guess nothing left anymore for the preparation, and you can just start and record your performance. Okay, let's start. And now I'm going to show you how to do Pecha Kucha presentation using 20 slides 20 seconds for each slide without no text or sentences for the slides, only pictures. Hello everybody, how are you doing? I hope you are doing good. Have you ever heard about street photography? Do you love photography? I love photography so much, and this picture was taken by myself around the pandemic situation that I could still go to Malioboro to capture great moments, but now today I'm gonna go there due to the small scale activities restrictions by the government and or PPKM. But anyway, I can still go to my backyard and capture small objects. I can still capture my family's activities, my daughter, wife, and not too bad. And anyway, I started to learn photography since I was in senior high school, I guess. So they are my friends, my best partners in photography. I started to learn basic techniques of photography from them. And you know that photography right now today is not only a hobby, it is more than that. It is way of life. It is a place for me to play with my imagination, to show to people what I'm feeling, to express my anxiety, to also celebrate the life, to celebrate the little moment that I admire in life. And moreover, in this time, this situation always happens to us that we are afraid of when this pandemic will be over. Why can I just go outside and meet my friends? Why can I, meet my family? And again, we cannot go to campus, we cannot go to school. We have to survive in this difficult situation. And if this happens for a long time, I'm sure that we are in a dangerous situation. Our mental health will be in a big problem. And I think photography can be used as a therapy to reduce our stress. And today I'd like to share to you how, by capturing little moments in life, by capturing any activities happening around us while having to stay at home, can make a big difference. Okay, so let me tell you how to do it and why we have to do that. Okay, so first of all, as I told you before, that I started to learn photography since maybe 10 years ago or more than 10 years ago. And it's not about the techniques that matter the most, but what objects you are capturing and how you mean it, how you express your feelings through the pictures. And again, the gadgets that you are using is again not the main point here. So these are the gadgets that I'm using: Sony Alpha A5100 and also an old iPhone. So you can even use your old gadget like old digital camera or analog camera. Anything would work for you. Again, the point here is not the tool, but the object that you are sharing to people. And this is the first smartphone that I bought, that I had maybe in 2007. And even you can still use your past smartphone, your old smartphone. That's gonna be fine, and that would also work perfectly, I guess. And we often find how ourself is a big boredom, and also we often feel bored at home, staring at a screen. And as a businessman, you often find like, why your customers are not going to you why your profit is not as much as the one that you had before the pandemic came. Let us all forget this situation. Why could you not just upload your photo and enjoy the appreciations coming from your friends through the likes and comments that they shared to your Instagram? That could be a good solution to make your mind better. As you know that more than 50% of people are suffering from mental health issue. 50% out of 1,500 people are suffering from this case. And based on research by Charles and Felton 2019, sharing our photos to people will be beneficial for us to show our hidden vulnerable experiences, and this is going to be so much helpful for us to cure our mental health issue. You can see here how I captured any small moments happening in my life, and by showing this to people, they would find that I'm still okay due to this hard situation, and I can start noticing the small object, things that I often ignore, how I realize that I have to enjoy life more, to appreciate life more, how I see my beautiful daughter. And you know, these small happiness like this often get ignored by every one of us in a normal day, but starting from now, I started to notice this better. That's why I captured this, and I'd like to show to people that we should be happy no matter what. And I'd like to quote what Horace, a very famous philosopher, said. A photo is like a poem without words, and we can express our feelings to that. So once again, why don't we start capturing any small moment and share to people around us in order to get better mental health, state of mind. Stay healthy, everyone. So that was an example of how I use Pecha Kucha technique to do a persuasive speech, within more or less 6 minutes, I guess. And again, the goal is to engage our audience to start believing that our viewpoint is just making sense, and to let them join our action, of course. All right, so what do you guys think after watching my performance? Okay, what do you guys think about this picture? What are they doing? All right, everybody. So what do you guys think about this picture? All right, everybody. So have you ever heard about street photography? Okay, everybody. Have you ever heard about Bu, badan sehat. Mungkin kita sayang. Asal itu. Pasang anu nggih, ngomet.
Pun mboten kula wau ngombe bar niki kuning kali paracetamol. Terus benar iki WA. Pun WA sing pun mawon. Dari lulusan itu.
Nah, syukur nah.